Hey, welcome back. So now to set the context to today's event, we have Anil Nair, who is CEO of VML YNR India. Hi, Anil. Welcome back and good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, over to you, Anil, please.
Yes. So, a very good morning. I hope all of you guys are safe and taking care of yourself. Uh, uh, it's my pleasure to be here speaking at as a keynote speaker at Startup Reso's MediaTech. In the media and entertainment industry, we normally keep looking at all the amazing, conferences and events that keep happening in fintech and in many other techs. But we always have a little grouse that media tech is underrepresented. But I'm happy that awareness on this is also happening. But the interesting thing is, unlike other sectors, it is hugely vast and fragmented, and maybe that is one of the reasons why we don't have events in this space because too much to cover. But having said that, I think it's a great start. I want to start off with by, we're talking about automation, we're talking about innovation, we're talking about the future, but this is me right now. And this has been my life over the last 4 months. So it's work coupled with a lot of housework. And I'm sure this is the same for many of us. I represent, I wouldn't call it an agency. It's a company called VML YNR. It's coming together of two companies, VML, which is a Kansas City headquartered technology company, YNR, which is a very, very old advertising agency. And it's interesting, this left brain, right brain, coming together of two different cultures, which is very telling of where we are as a world right now. And the reason why I put this slide up is because there is, the slides that are coming in front. You will kind of understand what I'm talking about, which is on the right hand side are all your platforms, the analytics pieces, the various experiences that you want to give, while on the left hand side is your branding, content, and campaigns. This is the melding together of the left brain and the right brain, which I find the most fascinating, and which is what I, as a practitioner, am attempting at doing, and we as an agency do well, which is at the end of the day, how do you, all technology has to be to some benefit, which is how do you create compelling connected brand experiences. And that proves us to our ability to kind of on one hand do a lot of creative work, while on the other hand sit next to a lot of your SI partners, your large consulting companies in being able to kind of deliver solutions. And therefore, I jump to the presentation, which is, we've all been stuck inside for nearly 4 months now. And I find it fascinating how we have taken to it like a duck to water. So many of our behaviors has already changed. So many technologies have been accelerated over the last 4 months. I always believed in this, but I believe in it even more, which is the future is already here. And I don't know, many of you may have been in this era, but this was a time when the directors of this movie, the producers, actually bought in a bunch of futurists to understand what life would be in 2020, 2030, 2040. And in many cases, we have already kind of surpassed this. I'm going to play a quick clip from this, and Gaurav, in case there is any lag in, you need to tell me so that I will not play some of the videos going forward.
A road diverges in the desert. Lexus. The road you're on, John Anderton, is the one less traveled. Make sure you follow.
Good evening. Sure, John Ashton. One-night stands provides gourmet cuisine. Try one night. You can use a Guinness.
Escape from it all, Harrison. Just get away, John Anderton. Forget your problems.
Hello, Mr. Yakamoto. Welcome back to the Gap. How those assorted tank tops work out for you?
Mr. Yakamoto.
Hey, Miss Belfort, did you come back for another pair of those chamois lace-ups?
So this is 2002, and imagine they already envisioned for 2020. And imagine now we are sitting in 2020 today. What life would be in 2030 or 2040? That's the huge paradigm kind of shift that is happening. This is already there. Alibaba and KFC, where you can pay with your smiles. 2018. If you see the experiences of this is another video on what AT&T imagined in 1994, but I will not play it. But it goes in line with the Minority Report film that you saw, in terms of many organizations, trying to plan for the future. But the interesting thing is AT&T at the end of the commercial says that, it's AT&T who will bring this to you. And honestly, if you look around us, the number of players have increased. People who maybe didn't even exist as a player in 1994 are today leading the charge as far as we are concerned. The world is changing dramatically around us, and organizations, which started off as booksellers, then moved on to horizontal giants, are now moving on to being technology players. This is the Amazon Go experience in the US, which is completely contactless. There is and frictionless in the sense. And you would wonder why I'm kind of taking you through all this, because I grew up in a time when we communicated from between two people through facsimile machines. I was amazed at the first Star Trek phone that Motorola launched. All of them look, and these were not too far ago. This was around 20, 25 years ago, and they look like really distant memories and antiquated pieces. And which is where I come to the fact that the future is already here. This is science fiction writer William Gibson. Many of us would have kind of seen this quote, but I just think that it's so powerful in terms of the hidden meaning of what he's attempting to say. You are a bunch of MarTech experts, so I will not preach to the converted. I am not here to and there are many speakers who will come in later who will speak about one platform versus the other, application of platform. I am the voice of the consumer, and my job is to let you guys know what is happening out there. And then maybe I may not even succeed in covering the entire width from media to entertainment. Maybe it may take many more sessions, but I'm just giving you a very, very, like a consumer in perspective. And this is, for example, if I was the CMO of a FMCG company or a consumer goods company, this is what I face. So not only do I have a whole bunch of regular legacy competition, but I also have on the right a whole bunch of internet first brands that have popped up. And this is just the beginning in that sense. And we did this in terms of a modern organization. Earlier used to be very, very linear competition, where I knew that a Dove would have maybe a Rexona as a competition. But in today's world, the competition can come from anywhere. The competition can come from another brand, a slightly allied category. It can even come from a service. It can come from technology. And that is today what most marketers face. And honestly, I wouldn't want to be in their shoes, because it is humanly impossible to keep track of all of this in terms of activities, actions, competitive thrust, etc. Today is also the era of open source, which itself is a concept that people are grappling with. Agility, stuff that used to take 8 months, a year, decisions are now being done on the fly. Collaboration, most traditional organizations was built on monolithic structures, which was all about keeping your knowledge in-house, while today it's about not being best at everything, but collaborating. And this seminar is a great example of something like that. There's a lot of knowledge sharing. It's about stacks, which again is not about large monoliths, but about small maneuverable pieces of code that speaks to each other. And last but not the least, it's about personalization, because if this modern internet economy has done anything, it is brought in a huge degree of personalization to our lives, which is we do what we want to do, when we want to do, and where we want to do. And it's important to kind of understand all of this while we take this discussion forward. Considering that this is a MarTech kind of a seminar, I thought it was important, and my friends at one of our WPP sister agencies, Miram, has just come out with a MarTech like a research that they did. 80% of marketers expect their organization to invest more in tools and technologies, and more so, because I am a practitioner of this. I'm out there in the market, and the conversations that I've been having over the last 4 months, ever since the pandemic is struck, is unbelievable. These are conversations I wouldn't have expected to have 4 months prior to that. It was business as usual. Life was good. Everybody was worried about their annual plans and their targets, but it just changed dynamically. And this is what they have to suddenly face, which is the sheer width of solutions out there, and each of these solutions are right in their own right. But the thing is, imagine the plight of the poor CXO or the CEO or the brand owner in being able to choose between so many worthies and to figure out what best fits their needs in that sense. And I'm sure many of us have gone through this dilemma while we're doing for our own organizations. To add to that, and I've always been fascinated by this, the advertising industry traditionally has been called madmen, but now that kind of has also stuck to this. So from MarTech, and then there is a bit of AdTech, and then people are talking about MadTech. But the interesting point I always make to most of my clients that I deal with is to tell them that this is constant beta. There is no perfect solution. You cannot say that I've bought solution 1, solution 2, solution 3. I can shut it and throw away the keys and I'm sorted. There has to be this constant beta mindset within organizations because things are kind of changing. When this particular research report spoke to marketers, obviously their biggest need was improving ROI and efficiency. And don't just read these as marketers, read these as anybody in the media and entertainment industry. People feel the need for a single platform. We all know that. Insights are becoming that much more important. Traditional insights used to come from physical research, but right now there is a constant stream of consciousness that kind of goes on. Automating to, one, save time and resources, and second, like I showed you in an earlier slide, the sheer complexity of the marketplace today. Attribution, very, very important, so that there is no confusion in it, and obviously security, because data is the new gold, and we all know how important that is. Where do they see MarTech playing a role? The biggest part is brand building, which is quite interesting, because I would have assumed that it would be something more left brain, followed up with the business end of things, which is sales, lead generation, audience management, CRM, and PR and reputation. At the end of the day, that's what's bringing in the rear guard. And when we ask them about what technologies and tools, data-driven marketing, top the thing, optimize customer experience, very, very critical in today's competitive marketplace, efficiency increasing, social marketing, digital experiences. Then they move into emerging technologies like AI and bots. Again, single customer view, super critical. IoT, it's on the horizon with 5G, and I'm sure a lot of marketers, and especially the media and entertainment industry, they're waiting eagerly for this. And for some strange reason, blockchain brings up the last. When blockchain came up, I was hugely gung-ho about this. I thought it would solve a lot of the problems of the world, but I guess there is a maturity kind of cycle that it's going through, but I have huge hopes for blockchain going forward. The other interesting thing I wanted to kind of lay behind with you guys is when I started my career, everything was a waterfall model, which meant it kind of gradually one thing led to another. Stack thinking was something that was alien to us, but over the last decade to 5 years, the importance of open source stack thinking has kind of increased, where you literally can kind of put together something that solves your problem in the sense. Normally in our practice, these are some of the stacks that we look at. There is the entire production stack that certain clients want. There's the attention stack, which is all about social media, website content marketing, or media optimization, retargeting, programmatic. There's a fulfillment stack that is there, which either in the form of D2C or even marketplace and commerce analytics. There's a whole lot of work happening in that space. And finally, the data stack, which I think is the heart of the entire operation. People are figuring out what to do with first party, second party, third party data, and how do we kind of have a single customer point of view. And that all then kind of, if you see the one on the left is more leaning towards the brand, the one on the right is towards the customer, and it feeds into eventually what your product and your experiences in the marketplace. But this is easier said than done. What eventually happens is these stacks just kind of end up coming and lying on top of each other. And I have seen these in many organizations, and as MarTech practitioners, I think it's important for me to communicate this to you as well. I've worn multiple hats. One is sat on the marketing side, one is sat on the MarTech side, selling these to these particular clients. Sat with the CTO, helping him, a MarTech that is purchased. But one thing that comes out is if the API conversations between these various stacks are of inferior nature, then what will happen is they'll end up being counterproductive to what you set out to do in the first place. And nothing better than this slide to kind of explain this, which is technology changes exponentially, people and organizations change logarithmically, which means there is a ever widening strategy gap at any point of time, and it's a constant. The attempt by practitioners like us would be to hold both these together and bring them together, or at least keep them on a parallel path. I don't think they will ever converge, but at least not to let this be divergent in that sense. And to remember one thing, which is eventually we all exist, whether I'm a media company, an entertainment company, we all exist to ensure customer obsession and to try and make it as singular a view as possible so that we can serve the customer well. If that becomes the end goal, then technology has a way of then fitting into our lives, and for us to be able to make those decisions, timeframes and investments that is needed to deliver personalized experiences at scale. Another paradigm shift that I just want to kind of highlight to you is traditionally it has always been you fish in large oceans and then you distill it down till you reach a certain segment of your large ocean that is willing to engage with your product, service, or brand. And this obviously, there is a time component to it, there is a cost component to it, and it all came because of a lack of visibility on who your customer is. Today, it is completely inverted. Imagine if you were to using the various MarTech platforms, using the knowledge and insights that we've kind of learned over the last decade. If I have a singular view of the customer, then the game changes completely, because I find one and then I expand that one and then I engage with them, because I'm using a lot of my productive time. And I again repeat, this is not just consumer goods. This can be used for media, for entertainment, for the entire spectrum, and to advocate. A great example of this is Spotify, where they know me, they know my music preferences, they are constantly modifying their product to suit my listening preferences. And through me, they identify people like me, and therefore their ability to kind of proliferate becomes that much faster than the traditional funnel that we have all grown up learning about.
Hey, Anil.
Therefore, I'm just
yeah.
Yes.
Just maybe one last minute, and then we can take questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the final point I want to kind of leave you guys with is the fact that keep the consumer right in the center of it, which is your technology, are your solutions, to what utility, to what purpose is it driving? Because strategy needs to kind of drive the technology selection that you do. Is it simple enough? Because too much complexity can kind of destroy what you're attempting to do. Is it contextual to your country, to your category, to your product, brand, and service? Is it participative? What good are any of these platforms if your own employees don't participate, or your partners don't participate, or your end consumer doesn't participate? Is it based on human values? and does it embrace a bit of irrationality, because that is what we are as human beings at the end of the day. If not for that, then services like Uber and many of the services like a Swiggy or many of the services that we enjoy today, including a Netflix and a Spotify, wouldn't kind of exist. And that is where I want to kind of leave you guys with. There is a lot more to share, but unfortunately we are running against time. But I would love to take some questions on this till now.
Great. Thank you, Anil. So if you have any questions, you can raise hand. You can see that option on your right hand side, and or else you can drop question in the question window. Anil, you can stop sharing your screen and you can take questions. Any questions? Anyone? So we have a question here. All right. Hey, hi Niranjan. Please ask your question.
Hi, this is Niranjan from TCS Research.
Hi.
So hi Anil. Thanks for the presentation. It was enlightening. One thing I wanted to ask is, with respect to how the spend on marketing tech provides ROI, have there been any innovations with respect to that? Because that's been an age-old question in the industry. So I wanted to know about that.
Yes, so there is a lot of innovation, Niranjan, happening in that space, and it's predominantly brought in by the digital media and the movement towards digital media that we see. Now, what is interesting is, and it brings in the entire piece on first-party data. So what is parallelly happening is, there is second and third party data that currently is there in terms of targeting, but many brands are beginning to start collecting first party data and do some kind of a rationalization between the first party data that they have and the second and third party data and insights that they get from these various platforms to literally create, not to depend on the analytics of these platforms, but to also develop your own insights and analytics, which is leading to better optimization of their media spends. Have I answered your question?
Sure. Thank you so much.
Great. Anil, if you see your chat window, we have question from Shiva here. How much budget increase with tech need for business for marketing?
How much budget increase with tech need for business for marketing? Honestly, there is there is no mathematical equation here. But what is more important is the attitude that is needed, because if there is like a muscle that is there within organizations, which says that together various departments need to come together and invest in technology. Today, there is everything from startups who can come in and literally kind of fit your immediate problem, to many open source platforms, to your large monolithic kind of solutions that are there. The beauty is everything is available, but like I say, what is needed is the right attitude to kind of get in there.
Great. All right. Thank you so much, Anil. Thank you for the presentation. Thank you for the keynote. So we'll be back for the next session. Thank you so much for joining.
Yes, and I wish everybody all the best and enjoy the day.
Thank you.